Brought to you by Nextlights, video editing tools for filmmakers.
And now, your feature presentation.
Hey guys, Tony Reale here from Next Wave DV. And those of you that have been with us for a while may remember about a year ago we announced an ambitious new series called Film Scene. The goal of it was to basically recreate major blockbuster film scenes on an indie film budget. And we want to show you the behind the scenes of how that worked, basically do a mini series for each scene that we would create. It's a very ambitious project. We had a lot of interest, but as with many things, we fell short of funding. We tried to fund it individually or separately. We tried to fund it with sponsors, and just things weren't working correctly. We even started shooting some of it. We did a casting call, and we started shooting the behind the scenes of that. But again, financing fell short, and we weren't able to do the project to the full extent that we wanted. And so it kind of got stuck on the back burner, and where it's going to kind of remain indefinitely until either finances pick up or things are able to shift. In the meantime, this past year has been incredibly busy for us. We've launched our own lighting company. We moved into our first studio space, and we've been doing construction almost constantly. Even 8 months later after we moved in here, we still are doing construction here, but it's really coming along quite well. Now, the reason we're able to move in here is because our main production company, Creative Edge Productions, has brought in a ton of income and kept us really busy, which is one of the reasons you haven't seen as much stuff on Next Wave DV lately. That said, we have been working on a lot of productions, and so that allows us to have a variety of things that we could show you. Unfortunately, we don't always have the chance to bring a behind-the-scenes camera to show you what's happening because these are paid gigs and the client isn't really thrilled if we are bringing a camera along and kind of taking extra time to do that kind of stuff. So that said, there are some scenes that I'd love to deconstruct for you guys and show you what we've done and just basic lighting deconstruction. Essentially what we'd like to do for Film Scene on a grander scale, we're going to scale back and then show you here just deconstruction. This scene is going to be from a short film that we did called Escape the Matrix. It was for a men's conference that we were contracted to produce, and it was the first thing that we actually shot on our brand new FS700. So let's jump in and I'll show you how we lit some of these scenes and what we were able to do with that. All right, so to give you a little background on this project, this was done for a men's conference, like I said before. We had started off doing these videos for the men's conference called the Manly Man Conference. And if you want more information about that, you can read an article that I wrote on nextwavedv.com called The Evolution of a Filmmaker, where I kind of go back and talk about the very first conference intro that I did and all leading up to this one, which was in fact the third one that we've done for them. Basically we found out that the theme of the conference was going to be around The Matrix, and they wanted an intro movie that kind of followed along that course. And so I decided to come up with this story that paralleled The Matrix. I didn't want to copy it verbatim. Escape the Matrix kind of has its own dialogue, its own character development and stuff like that, but it still has parallels that make it very familiar to The Matrix, as most of us all know and love. So this scene that we're looking at right now initially started with basically revealing the character is going from his normal everyday life, and now he's been introduced to a character called Marcus, who is basically similar to the Morpheus character in The Matrix. He hasn't met him in person yet. He's just basically going to be on his way to meet him for the very first time. He just got a mysterious phone call saying, go outside. And so he's walking outside for the first time, and we see this reveal of the really cool car that he's going to be picked up in. And so when initially I was told about this idea, the first visualization that I had was that we were going to maybe open the door and he would see the car in the street. Now, the issue we ran into was the location, there was no clear line of sight from the front door. There was a porch, and then it kind of looked downward towards the front street. And so we determined that the best route to go then would basically be do a reveal of the car as the character is walking out, which I felt in the end actually looked a lot cooler and had just a better moment for the scene. So to accomplish this, I had my Kessler crane on my flex dolly track, and it was my pocket jib then doing a slow jib up as we dollied forward, and then I tilted my camera down to reveal the car. For the lighting setup, it was actually pretty basic. We had two RE1K open-face lights that were pointed at the car, and then I brought in an extra 200 watt light that I side lit the main character from camera right, so that he had a little light. If we didn't have that, it would have been too dark. You wouldn't have seen the railing of the porch in the scene. You wouldn't have seen the side of him. It would have just been kind of a dark blob as he walked forward. And so that literally 3 lights, we were able to create this dark, moody night scene. And night scenes aren't the easiest thing to shoot, because you're usually running into a problem where you're either overlighting it or you're bumping up your ISO on your camera so that it looks like it's properly exposed. But really the key to realize about night lighting is it's all in the shadows. And this is whether you're doing indoors or outdoors. The more moody, the more shadows that you have, the more it feels like it's nighttime. And also, if you play with more of a blue coloring, it doesn't have to be blue period, but if you're just leaning more towards blue, basically the lights that are shining on the car are basically supposed to be street lamps, motivated by street lamps. So for them to have a warmer tone makes sense. But the overall color grade that we went with is just slightly favoring the blue side. And so overall that gives it a tonality that feels like it's outdoor nighttime scene, and there's plenty of shadows going around. Even though it's lit, it's properly exposed, we're not bumping up the camera so that the ISO is causing a lot of grain and gain. And we're seeing everything that we're supposed to, but it still feels like it's nighttime because there's tons of shadows all over the place. And that's really what you got to look at. There's times where you're going to have to light something that you might not expect to. Maybe you have to light a tree, or you have to light the side of a building to add some definition between your subject and the background. But by doing that and keeping enough shadow in the picture, it still looks correct, and you're able to have that definition while still looking like an evening shot. So there you have it. There's a simple, effective way to light an outdoor scene. If you want to see the rest of this film, we'll include the link down below in this video, and you can watch the entire film. But if you guys like this setup, and if you like learning more about how we do scene deconstructions like this, let me know, and perhaps we'll do some more deconstructions from this film and some of the other films that we worked on. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.